Good morning and welcome to my podcast as well as a video channel. Yes, I do have a podcast as well, although it's not really active out and about yet in all cases. It will be developing as I progress. And by the way, also my video channel will be changing as well. So all those current subscribers, all two of them, well, now about 200 and just over 200, I will be flipping over to a new channel and hopefully will take you all with me when we get into more focused storylines on where we are and what we're doing. The subject is all about health today, and I'm going to continue on the health theme, which is going to be a strong part of my subject matter as we go into the Philippines to start growing the health food, superfood elements of what we're producing. But before I do that, I want to talk about something I was hearing on the radio last night regarding COVID-19. It was somebody being interviewed, and they're in their mid-30s, and they were struck down with COVID in the early stages, I think it was January, February time. There's a man living at home, as I said, in his 30s, and he just basically collapsed on the dining room floor. Couldn't get up, couldn't move. He had to actually lay there until he was found, and he just lost sensation in his legs, collapsed, and then he obviously was rushed to hospital. He had breathing difficulty then, and he obviously had to go on to a respirator, and doctors at one stage were giving him virtually no chance of living. So it was a very close call. And the point he was making, he was in his 30s and he had no underlying health conditions. Now, I question that and say, look, he didn't have any known underlying conditions, health conditions. I don't believe, you can't say he didn't have any, because that happened to him. When the interview went on, they did establish actually that he used to enjoy boxing. So my logic and theory in this whole thing would be that he obviously had some neurological problem that he wasn't aware of, and his doctors weren't aware of at the time. So he just put it down as a healthy fit and all the rest of it, when he probably wasn't. And obviously with the virus getting into his body, it had a major impact in that area of unknown first. So I think to say if coronavirus hits a healthy body, it can do all those things. No, I don't think it can. It could obviously give you a very hard time. But if you are genuinely fit and well with nothing at all underlying, and that's Louis coming into my room. Hello, Louis. Hello. He's coming in to say hello to me. I think if you're fit and well, and you genuinely haven't got any underlying health conditions, your immune system will be tough enough to fight the virus off over time through your good organ support and everything else. And that's why I want to really talk about today. So I'm just going to go and shut my door again. There we go. The Noni product, Morinda citrifolia. That's what I really want to talk about. And I want to recover all the points of goodness that I feel are good about the product in every possible way. First of all, and I'm going to go on the basis of what it's done for me, and what I think is also important for many of us who live an active life in the UK, in this modern world, and like to do the things we do, and how this can help us, really. Well, first of all, Noni, for me, has been good at lowering the risk of my gout developing. I had gout 5 years ago, and they say when you have gout, you always have gout. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it and we know how gout is caused by the buildup of uric acids crystals in the joints, which is what causes the pain and the swelling and the suffering, usually in the feet. But you can get it in your elbows and hands as well. It's a form of arthritis which causes joint pain. Now, actual medical studies have proven that noni juice can reduce uric acid in the blood and thus lower the risk of gout. So that's fact. That happens. Number two, in terms of skin quality, being a strong antioxidant product, the juice works as a wonderful moisturizer when applied to the skin daily. Now, this is being applied externally. The juice has the ability to replenish and repair your skin. Now, I don't do this myself. But Richie does once a week. She applies it to her skin, and I don't think she has to, but she does, and her skin's of good quality. Now, when it comes to other forms of arthritis, like gout, noni juice is effective in reducing arthritis pain. It's also effective in reducing joint pain implicated by arthritis due to the analgesic properties it has. They say that noni, once you've been taking noni for quite a few months, 4 or 5 months, the pain relief you gain from noni is far better than some of your stronger paracetamols and pain-killing drugs that you have to take to numb some of the pain some of the time. That's how strong noni is in the process of pain relief. Right, when it comes to anti-aging, noni is packed with vitamin C. It has fantastic selenium to fight the free radicals and reverses the effects of aging and preserves the elasticity of the skin itself. Now, I'm not saying I would use that for myself. I don't care whether I look old or not. As long as I feel young, that's what's important. But that's very key in a lot of people when what they think noni is doing for them. Noni prevents cancer. I've always been sceptical of this particular statement with regards to noni until I started reading a lot of articles by doctors and people in the medical field who've done various studies regarding noni and its treatment to cancer sufferers. Usually when it comes to them coming through the process of cancer and looking for a tonic to help them recover and get onto the mend. But what beyond this, it's now been proven that this regular intake of noni juice actually reduces the risk of cancer. So it has those powerful properties. Now, this is according to the National Centre of Complementary and Integrative Health. Noni juice has tumour-fighting and immune-stimulating properties. The National Cancer Institute has funded the preliminary research on noni juice for the treatment and prevention of breast cancer. That's just one area. When it comes to stress relief, now there aren't many of us that can honestly say they haven't been stressed out at some point in their lives. And I think it's a common factor these days in the modern world we live in. Noni juice not only helps to deal with stress, but also reduces the effect of stress on our cognitive functions. I think that's fact. I mean, I think if I think of my own circumstances, I'm not saying I used to suffer from stress, but stress was a major factor in my life, how I was living my life, especially when I was very active in a work situation at work in a high-powered role, particularly in the Middle East. I'm thinking when I was a CEO over there, and I was working a 20-hour day, and I wasn't stopping. Although I enjoyed it, it was highly stressful. And I used to get headaches. I used to sometimes get overtired. Sometimes I get very irritable. And it was all stress related, which caused then stomach, gastro problems and all kinds of other things. It affected diet. I've got to say, I don't have any of those issues now. If things upset me, they brush over me very quickly. I might get angry, but then within 2 minutes I'm over it. I said my piece and I move on. That's what I do, and I think Noni is just a calming influence on one's mind as much as anything else. And now it helps you manage that whole process of stress. When it comes to the immunity system, Noni definitely, and this is, again, it's got medical facts to back this up, it boosts immunity. Noni juice has antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory and antihistamine properties, all of which help to boost the immunity. This is fact. There's no doubt in my mind about this, and this is one of the key factors for me in I think counteracting with diabetes as well. That's what's made it work for me in every way I can see, and this is, I think, what the doctors have said as well. It's fact. My diabetes, well, look, it was never high, my diabetes too, but within a space of 6 months, it was removed. Now, I wasn't doing much different. Yes, I was doing exercise, but I was exercising before. I was already trying to watch my diet, but I was still enjoying my beer, my dark chocolate, the odd cat, as you've seen in my videos. I do still eat. I still got to watch my weight, but from a diabetes point of view, from being a diabetic, it's gone in the right direction. Treating fever like a regular medicine. The antiviral properties of the Noni juice can help one to get rid of cold, cough, fever, and body ache. Yeah, like I said before, it acts very much like a paracetamol in the body when it comes to pain and fever treatment. And I think it's fair to say, in most people that's been proven. There are some people that have taken it and they said it hasn't done much for them. I think what I would say with taking Noni, be it you take the capsules or the juice, give it time. Don't take it for a week and then say, no, it's not doing anything for me. Give it time. You let it run with it for a couple of months, and then you find suddenly those aches you were getting when you get out of bed in the morning have disappeared. They're no longer there. Or that ache in your leg when you sit in the chair for too long, or that ache in your elbow sitting at your desk. You'll find these little symptoms that have been irritable, but have suddenly disappeared. They're no longer there. That's what I found anyway. Treating the scalp irritation. This not a problem I have, but the same antibacterial properties which help to boost the immune system can also help to treat scalp irritation. It is common, particularly among youngsters and people with hair, unlike myself. It's proven to have those facts, and that's backed up with medical science as well. Another one backed up with medical science is protection of the heart, protects heart health. Noni juice has shown positive effects in protecting heart health by improving the blood flow in the arteries. It also helps in regulating blood pressure which definitely helps in maintaining heart health. Yeah, look, my blood pressure, again, it was partly, I think, related to stress. And doctors, what do? They throw pills at it. In my case, it was the amlodipine, which is like, it balances. Does it remove or balances the calcium in the bloodstream? I can't remember exactly, but that in itself then has a certain relaxing influence on the blood vessel, which is supposed to have the impact on the blood pressure. Well, Noni is a natural product that just does that anyway, and you don't need to take a drug. In reality, I'm on a lower dose of amlodipine now. It has come down, and my blood pressure has come down as well, which is also good. I think one's got to watch this now very carefully. If you're taking someone who's taking blood pressure tablets of any type, or beta blockers of any type, the strong ones, or anything of what I've just mentioned now in terms of calcium balance, etc., and you're going to then take a large doses of Noni, just be careful, because you don't want your blood pressure to drop down too low either. So I think balance it very carefully with what you're doing, and see, most people that are being treated for blood pressure are usually monitoring their blood pressure fairly frequently, so they know where their blood pressure for them needs to be and how they feel with it, etc. So they already have that. They've probably got a blood pressure monitor, and they're checking it fairly regularly, and they know where they stand. So what I would suggest with Noni is that obviously take your Noni, keep monitoring your blood pressure while you're taking your Noni and your medication, and then as you see improvements with your blood pressure and you start feeling good, speak to your doctor and start weaning off your that medication that you don't want to take forever, and get onto the natural products that are going to be better to get you the balance in life. But bear in mind, Noni it's just a fruit. It's a fruit that grows in the tropics. So it's a 100% natural product that has the ability to deal with your blood pressure and your heart. Noni juice has shown positive effects in protecting heart health by improving the blood flow in the arteries. It also helps in regulating blood pressure, which definitely helps in maintaining heart health. People who consume Noni juice on an everyday basis showed improvement in their lipid profiles, reduced LDL, bad cholesterol, and improved HDL, good cholesterol. Yes, that's another thing that is key with Noni. Cholesterol is something that it can be quite difficult to manage. Getting the balance right with your good and bad cholesterol. If your bad cholesterol is high, but is balanced with your good cholesterol also being high, you're okay. It's when your cholesterols are going down, but your good cholesterol is going down faster than your bad cholesterol. That's when you can end up with having problems. And I think this is where Noni again plays a very useful part in managing cholesterol levels. And I think we have pills we take for cholesterol, the statins, which have been quite common for a number of years now in people taking them. In fact, some doctors have made the point that statins should be taken by everybody over a certain age. And there are people who have concerns with statins as well, as there are with a lot of these pharmaceutical medicines. But Noni is proven. There is medical proof on how effective Noni can be in managing cholesterol levels. So that's just some of the points I've just given you more thought on the good value of Noni and what it does. As he scratches his head here, I'm just making a point. And that creaking sound is my chair, by the way. Noni, unfortunately, cannot be produced in the UK or in colder climates, unless, of course, we can develop it in our greenhouses, which I suppose it could be done under those sort of conditions. But Noni in particular is quite a large plant, quite a they are trees in the tropics. So you would need, fairly large greenhouses to actually produce sufficient Noni fruit for consumption on a regular basis in our climate. I would think, in the warmer climates in southern Europe, on the Mediterranean coast, in Greece, parts of Spain, Cyprus and these sort of places, you could possibly get Noni to work. You could cultivate it possibly. When it comes to the country I know well, the Philippines, Noni will grow throughout all 7,500 islands. It likes volcanic rocks, volcanic ground, and goes particularly well in coastal regions as well. So it does have its preferences in terms of where it thrives. And in those locations, it thrives it is a wild plant. It isn't something that's been man-made or created and developed, and it grows wild. It grows wild by the side of the road. I've seen it there myself. It's that good. As is moringa, which is another fantastic superfood that is growing also in Southeast Asia, in that part of the world. More and more attention is being given to it, though, by the Western world, and you will see as you go onto some of these health food sites, or even Amazon, you'll find many different brands of Noni or many different brands of moringa. I just give one warning, and that is, the price people currently are paying for this, and for what it is. Yes, it's a fantastic product, and it has some fantastic healing powers which have been around for centuries, and Noni claims to be in existence for the last 2,000 years by the Polynesians as a healing plant. But I think it's being exploited in the Western world like everything else. If there's a buck to be made, sure enough, there's always somebody out there going to make that buck. So when I see Noni selling at over £35 a bottle, or £30 a bottle, I think that's just daylight robbery. Someone really tried to take a chance. And it normally isn't the poor farmer who is growing the stuff in his field in the Philippines or wherever. It more than likely is somebody as the in-between man sitting in Europe somewhere. Now I'm only making people aware of this because arguably you could say, well, I could be one of these in-between men that could make all the money as well as grow. I don't like that. I think this is a product that can be brought to the whole world in a cost-effective way and serve good purpose to people's health at an affordable price that's right in the market. I don't believe this is something that should be just for those people who can afford it at the top end of society. This is something that we should be giving to everybody in society, who may have heart problems, who've got dietary problems because they can't afford to eat good balanced diets. This is something that can help that process in its supplementary form and get the nutrients into the body that are required. It doesn't have to be at these ridiculously high prices. It can be at a price that is more reasonable, like buying a bottle of orange juice, as I've given examples in videos. It doesn't have to be extortionate pricing. And I make this point very clear. It grows in abundance. There is plenty of it out there. And what we should be doing is making more and more people aware of the goodness of products like Noni. Sorry, you can tell I'm getting passionate about this part, but it's just fact. It's not about making a quick buck here. It's about education and getting the right foodstuffs into everybody's body, fairly and squarely. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion. All right, that's all I've got to talk about now. Talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.